They're scared. This is all it boils down to. They're scared. I'm scared. I could admit it. I'm scared. I'm worried. I have huge levels of concerns about the levels. Huge levels of concern about the levels. Huge anxiety. I often find myself about to fall asleep at night and it creeps into my mind. What exactly are Liverpool going to win this year? Could they do the double? Could they do the Prem and the FA Cup? An amazing achievement in the modern day era, historically. Could it be a Premier League, Champions League double? Barely any English clubs have done that. Liverpool, of course, themselves have done it before. Could they repeat that feat and do it? The only English team to have done it twice. Sorry, to equal Man United to be the only English team to have done it twice. Maybe Liverpool have done it twice. Let me know. I don't know your full history. Could they do the treble? Could Liverpool do the treble? It's plausible. How about the quad? Could Liverpool complete football? Because I always feel the first of these achievements are often the greatest. I often feel the first of the achievements are the greatest because they set a sort of benchmark for everybody to attack and everybody to go for. You know, there are lots of people now that can run a 4-minute mile, but the person that broke that barrier, even though they may no longer hold the record for the fastest mile run, they broke a barrier nobody thought was possible. The first man to run 100 meters sub 10 seconds. The first, the Wright brothers inventing flight. There's better aeroplanes now, but they hold a special place in history. I think people are fearful that Liverpool can do it. And before we go any further, hit the like button, please. Get yourself subscribing and make sure you have that bell notification button turned on. But I think people are genuinely fearful it could happen. And you see that in the way people are rewriting history. How elements of the game that have been praised, lauded, celebrated for many, many a year are now being discarded, thrown away slightly. At the very least, they're being misrepresented. And it's put me in a very horrible position. One that I don't want to be in. But it's put me into a position where I could either join in with bantering Liverpool, join in with calling them lucky, saying they're going to be found out, that they're overrated. I could do all of this. It would be very easy. It'd be very easy to sit here and just exaggerate. Maybe not lie, but at least exaggerate. I could sit there and you could take this tweet here that says, when Man United used to score late goals, people called it spirit. When Liverpool score late goals, people call it luck. And you see my issue here. Now, Liverpool supporters will say, thank you, Terry, for being honest. Thank you, Terry, for being fair. Thank you, Terry, for understanding there's a place for banter and then there is a place for serious talk. And I think it is absolutely acceptable that Man United fans, the Everton fans especially, your two biggest rivals, call you lucky. For a bit of a laugh. A bit of banter. Turn up to work. Your boss, who's an Evertonian, says, oh, you got lucky again. United fan, your cousin who's a United fan, rings you up and said, how lucky have you been? You turn up to a barbecue, you walk in, how you doing? No one's barbecuing now, by the way, this time of the year. But you turn up to a barbecue, how are you? Yeah. Oh, Liverpool got lucky at the weekend, eh? Little bit of a little jab in the stomach. Whee, hey, you boy, whee. And then you get on, you speak about the football seriously. I don't think anybody has a problem with that in any capacity, any way, any shape, any form. Where the problem lies, where people are frustrated, where there is an annoyance, is you're now getting the mainstream media talk about it as luck, overrated, being found out. They're planting these seeds. And I can't, in good conscience, allow that to happen without pushing back. Because as this tweet points out, and as you can read when I put it back up on the screen, when Man United did it, we were lauded. When Man United did it, we were praised. Well, I'm talking by the pundits, by the mainstream media, by the journalists. Nobody spoke in the summer of 1999 when Fergie time was a phrase that was coined that has now been around for a quarter of a century and will never disappear from the game. It is not just a colloquial term, but it's part of the Oxford Dictionary. Fergie time has its own definition. It is a fixed state. It's not even down to interpretation what Fergie time is. We all know. Anyone who watches football, I think people that don't know football get it. That's how important it is culturally to our game and to society now. So I can't in good conscience as a Man United fan, aside from the banter. So if anyone's sitting in the comments going, Terry, man, but we should be allowed to banter each other. No one is saying you can't. But it's when these things become serious. When I see TNT Sports and CBS, the two biggest broadcasters in the world of the Champions League, trying to downplay Liverpool as lucky, I've got to call it out. And yes, there's part I am defending Liverpool, but only by proxy. And I'm defending Liverpool because if I don't, I could damage the legacy of my own club. And that is what I see happening so much now in these conversations. So I saw Arsenal fans recently joining in with some journalists playing down Erling Haaland. He can't be considered a great because he never scored in the final. For these young Arsenal fans, jumping on it, to forget that Thierry Henry has never scored in a final for Arsenal. I don't know if Henry scored in the final for anybody. Haaland actually has scored in the final. But you hear my point here. I remember when Graham Souness and Pogba were arguing, Liverpool fans for many years would sit online and say, you can't use trophies in a debate about who's better in Gerrard or Scholes. It's not fair. Look at the teams, etc. And although it doesn't matter whether I agree or disagree with that point, you've got to stay true to that. But when Souness turned around to Pogba and said, put your medals on the table, a lot of the Liverpool fans that would debate that you can't use medals with Gerrard and Scholes were very happy to use medals with Souness and Pogba. And I push back against this notion because I feel as though it's petty point scoring, and it was a little bit of fun, there's no doubt. But we can't, that's what it was. We all pushed back, we all had a laugh and a joke. Liverpool fans knew it wasn't serious, United fans knew it wasn't serious. No one lost their minds over it. We're beyond that era of football punditry now, where this stuff's becoming serious. People start actually pushing these narratives. They write articles on it. Think pieces. You saw it in the summer with Liverpool, with the Isak stuff. Think pieces. The mainstream media trying to recategorize this as the first time anyone's ever gone on strike, when there was multiple examples. And I think as much as it is nice to shit on a rival, when there is a fun element to it, there's no doubt. I feel like it makes us all stand on a very slippery slope, which will one day make us not enjoy football as much. But that's just my view. As ever, look, I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions on this. But I'm going to say this now. Liverpool are not lucky. People are just damn scared of what you're going to achieve. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.